Hello and welcome. Welcome to today's live, today's Manifestation Monday. I hope you're feeling good. I hope that you've started moving along with your target. So, I recently actually just heard someone speak about this, about how um, we are 3 months in, right? Where the first quarter is coming to an end, the first quarter of the year. And most people give up on their goals. Like all of those things, like, yes, this is the year and I'm going to make it all happen. Most people give up by now. Okay. So this is an opportunity to recommit to that. This is an opportunity to go into, wait a second, right? Because the mind is there getting off track, getting us off track. And actually, that is the topic for today. And that is bypassing and the tricky way in which your mind does that without you realizing. So that's what we're diving deeper into today. Um, so as I was saying, the mind gets you off track, and some things are more important, or maybe health conditions, or a relative's health condition, or maybe there's a move, and we're just kind of life gets us off track. It's not really life. Life is there to support us, but it's the mind's interpretation of it that basically gets us off track, right? It's like, well, I'm afraid to do that. I don't really want to do it. So therefore, there's a wonderful opportunity. Because the truth is, when we're committed to our growth, there are no excuses. There are no excuses. You can have the worst of circumstances, and I've seen people do this. I know that I've done it myself at some points in my life where it's the worst circumstances, but people still show up. People still are so determined to go with, no, this is what I want, and this is important for me, and just failure is not an option. I was recently doing a reading for somebody for the new moon, and I got this, oh, there's a failure, there is a disadvantage. And this person goes with such confidence. It must be my personal life because in business, I don't fail. Like, failure is not an option. And it was just the confidence with which said, it's like, no, like, this is just a non negotiable. There's no concept of failure in my business. And I loved it. And this was just like a really powerful person. And can that be the truth for any goals, for anything that you create in life? Like, no, failure is just not an option. It doesn't matter what the weather is, like, I'm still showing up. So let us begin by just taking a deep breath in before we go into the bypassing, before I go into what people are doing wrong addressing personal growth and personal development and inner work, and especially working with the ego, and like a big pitfall that just I don't want to see it happening anymore because it's brutal for the mind. So taking a deep breath into the belly, into the chest, into the nose, exhaling out, letting it go, actually receiving this breath. People breathe wrong. Most of us, and I know when I first heard it, I was like, what? There's a wrong and a right way to breathe. There is. Most people go through their life breathing in this very shallow way, holding yourself very tight, allowing yourself, your shoulders back, your spine erect, just allowing yourself to receive, giving yourself this moment, because it's always a giving and a receiving. So now the bypassing, just tuning in to your body. This is something that I just recently recorded for the Powerful Self Membership Motivation Monday that was all around the topic of, can self-care be bypassing? And yes, it can. And this is, there's just it depends where the person is on, like, which end of the spectrum of I'm giving to myself too much or not enough. And your ego will interpret self-care sometimes as, well, no, people are just being lazy. You don't need to. It's all about pushing through and, achieving those goals. And who needs self-care? And that's wimpy. And there's the under end of the spectrum, those people that are there just wanting to be mellow. They're afraid of taking the action steps. They're afraid of actually showing up powerfully, moving forward with those targets. And the mind goes into, self-care is really important. I mean, like, getting out of my comfort zone sounds good, but I don't feel like that's the loving thing to do. I feel like my body just needs rest all the time. And that's when the mind uses self-care as bypassing. I don't want to do the scary thing. I feel like intuitively I should just relax and get really comfortable. And then some teachings, powerful teachings like Abraham Esther Hicks, they go into, well, just feel good and just do what feels right to you, which, yes, absolutely, yes. Put your frequency first, yes. However, if you're in that place, it depends where you're at. What is your pattern? And this is really what, anytime I get a general question like that I address here or on my Instagram, that I'm answering a question, I'm like, it's not a one size fits all. It depends where you are on your journey. So, what I'm inviting you here to do is ask yourself, what is my pattern? So if your pattern is procrastinating, if your pattern is, I want to, but nah, like, have you actually taken those action steps? Are you somebody who's known to, I said it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to show up? Or are you somebody who just gets really excited and then falls off track? Because then self care will be used as a bypass. Similarly, as if you're the person who is like very on a go, go, go and achievement driven, right? Sometimes self care, I know that I've done that because I'm that person. I was very much that person of just like, no, self care is not something I have time for. Um, so the mind will use it there as, let's just do it as something that, to tick off, like, check mark. Okay, I did the self care so that my body can function. It's kind of like, do you eat mindfully, like really connecting with the food, nourishing yourself? Or is it like, I just need to eat something so that my body's full so it can function, so I can get more out of it? Like, is there an agenda, right? You're not actually present with the moment. You're not present with the food. You're just there like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. I wasn't even able to snap my fingers just now. Come on, let's go, let's get this done so that I can get what I want, like the bigger picture. So, this is how we use self care as well. That actually, when you're on that end of the spectrum, self care would just be something that, you're not doing mindfully, but it's just like, I just need this to function. That's not the right way to do it either. Okay. And your mind will use that, the bypassing of like, okay, but I'm just getting it done. It's like, you're not getting it done. It's being done as a check mark. It's like manual. It's not, no. Okay. So, again, to how do you know where you're at? What is your pattern? Okay. Are you that go, go, go person? Are you the chill and mellow one? And we want to get a little bit out of the comfort zone. We don't want to shock ourselves into change, because this is what a lot of people that come to me, they go into, what is that big step to change my life? And I'm like, well, do some of these things, like try with that. It's like, right, I don't think that's going to change my life. Like, what is that big thing that's going to change my life? And I go, so you're not willing to consistently do the little things, but you feel like that big thing from 1 to 100 will transform your life and you'll be able to stay there. That's not how it works. So the mind is amazing, and the mind will trick you into, this isn't working. Even if you've had those results, this is the amazing thing. Whether it's manifesting something, whether it's just, I don't know, you've exercised and you feel amazing. You're like, yes, I feel empowered. I feel awesome. And your body will, your mind rather, will go in the next day. I don't think like working out, or like, well, does meditation really work? I mean, like, yeah, I felt good last time, but like, will it actually do something? So, it will, but you have to be consistent. This is getting out of the comfort zone. Whichever end of the spectrum you're at, get out of the comfort zone a little bit. Not from 0 to 100, 0 to 1, and then to 2, and then to 3, and so on. We try to shock ourselves into change because the mind thinks that that's what's going to keep consistency, and it's not. And I see so many people just doing spiritual tourism, which is what I call it. Just, they're kind of like dipping their toes into personal development, or like, oh, I met so many people and they go, in my younger years I used to be very much in personal development. It's like, okay, so what do you do now? Oh yeah, I just kind of moved down from that phase in life. It's like, if it's not in you, if it's something that you just, okay, I know all of this, obviously you don't, because you're not living it, you're not embodying it. So that was just kind of like, okay, I dipped my toes into it, but I'm not really into it. Like, I'm not maintaining my practice. Similarly, you can be maintaining your practice. I know people who also have meditated for over 10 years and they're not incorporating it in their life. This is that end of the spectrum that I was talking about, where it's like, go, go, go. And it's like, oh yeah, I have my 10 minutes. It's a non-negotiable every day. It's like, okay, has your life become better? Like, have you incorporated that stillness and that ability to observe your thoughts into your conflicts? When just all shit breaks loose and you're like, can you observe the person that you're becoming when you're in conflict with someone, and can you look at them who they are instead of getting lost in the story? It's like, no, but my practice is very consistent, 10 minutes every day for 10 years. Like, what is your end result? Understanding why you're doing that. Okay, so I feel like I covered so many things, but just action steps, identifying which pattern you're in. Is it the mellow procrastinator, just slow and easy? Or is it the go, 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 achieve it yesterday? And do the uncomfortable thing. The last thing I want to say, I'm actually thinking of a teacher of mine who he used to it's somebody that I came across because of the spiritual practice, but at some point he was a yoga teacher. And he would say that, he would have those fast paced yoga classes and then he would have the slow ones. And I would tell him that, yeah, I don't really do yoga. Like it doesn't resonate with me because it's just like really slow and steady. And I'm like, I like my workouts very active and like half an hour, but it's intense. And he would say, yeah, I would see people in my practice, those that are like fast paced and they, want things yesterday and they like that, like basically like what I used to be. And they go to these classes that are just like fast paced yoga, but what they actually need is to go to the slower class where things are like agonizingly slow because I've actually trained myself to be more patient. I've been doing some things that are like it's like this little diamond picture and you fill it up bit by bit by bit. It's agonizingly slow because you don't see the results. It's like you don't get short-term gratification there at all. And I hated it. But that's actually what you need when you're there, just like your mind is used to going like yesterday, come on, let's go, go, go. It's like, no, make yourself slow down and you're gonna hate it. And that's where the growth's at. And same with the people that are there, like, no, I want to take it slow and I want to slow down and like just take my time. They actually need to go to the fast paced class because they need to get out of their comfort zone of like what happens if you're fast, and it will be a little bit overwhelming until it's not, until you get into that, okay, I can keep rhythm. It's a combination of the masculine and the feminine, the doing, right, the going, the giving, and the feminine that is the flowing, the receiving. So you can't function. You need two, just like you need a man, a woman, right? For a baby, you need a masculine and feminine energy for any kind of creation in your life. You need the schedule, you need the structure, you need the intention, the purpose, and you need the flow because it is actually the feminine energy that inspires anything that a masculine is able to create. It's that connecting to the intuition, what wants to come through me. And the mind goes into, okay, now I said that, I use that inspiration as an intention. This is what we're doing. This is what we're creating. How do we get it done? And that is how you create in the world. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's your calling, whether it's a piece of art, whether it's just your day. It's a combination of the two. So on this note, I thank you for being here, remembering to what is your pattern and how can you shift out of that? Just getting a little bit uncomfortable. Just next level, okay? Just a little bit today. I thank you for being here and I'll see you in the next one.